listen to it and also just make sense of it as we break the monotony of talking here, then come back with this conversation. Let's take a look.
Mimi nataka niwaeleze hivi na munisikize vizuri. Nilisema hivi, all civil servants above the age of 60 to go home and give opportunities to our youth. Mimi nimepea kazi huyu rafiki yangu Musalia. Si huyu wako ini status. Na huyu rafiki yangu Oparanya. Si huyu ni baby boy. Na huyu Bedan Muturi. Ati mnasemaje? Si hawa ndio vijana machachari. I want to tell you this. Nimeambia wafanyikazi wote wa serikali. Hakuna mfanyakazi wa serikali anafaa kufanya any harambes in church because it is encouraging corruption. Na mimi nilikuja hapa kwa hii kanisa yenu ya hapa ya Chepkorio na hii ya Cheptais na ile ya Chepkonga. Hizo kanisa zote nimeweka 5 million shillings hiyo kanisa iishe.
All right. Just in case you're wondering, that guy on that particular clip is seated next to me here. Let me, before we get into the conversation, what prompted you to start making these particular clips first?
Well, these particular videos were actually meant to do edutainment, to educate and at the same time entertain. I'm trying to reach the people wherever they are and tell them that, you see, what the president says versus what he does are two different sides of the coin. He says this, he does the other. For example, there I've said, he himself said that all government officials beyond the age of 60 to go home. Mr. Musalia is beyond 60. Bedan Muturi is beyond 60. Wycliffe Oparanya is beyond 60. He's heading to 70 now. 70, he's heading to 70 now. He has appointed them into the cabinet. All these civil society groups and church leaders who are and our parents who are telling us to have a conversation with this president, why should we trust him? Is this a person that you can trust if everything he says is a lie?
No, I think you are wrong. You are so wrong. The president talked about civil servants who by law are supposed to retire at 60, and there are those that we normally give additional contract, keep them longer. Those are the ones the president say must go home. Ministers do not have retirement age. So I think keeping Oparanya, those are leadership positions. They are responsibility positions that require experience and level heads. If you listen to somehow how these young people talk, you wonder if you left them, this country, it will burn tomorrow.
We're talking about the leadership, the current leaders.
The president talks about civil servants, he is talking about government leaders. We are wrong. He is wrong. He needs to talk about mainstream civil servants whose retirement age is 60. You are not going to say that you are going to have no cabinet secretary beyond 60.
A cabinet secretary is public service officers.
We are talking about civil
no,
servants.
I'm asking you a question. Say him, tell me, are they public service officers or they are not?
They are.
And do you know what the law says about public service?
What does it say?
It says maximum age to be a public service. Now it is capped at 60.
No, even contracts. We even have CEOs who are above 60 because they are working on contracts. Cabinet secretary are on a contract of 5 years. No.
That's violation.
We have 5
civil
million.
servants will retire at 60.
Mr.
President can be president until 70.
We have millions of young people.
Tell me
who
where
are well educated.
A cabinet secretary's age is capped at 60.
Do you believe I can be a cabinet secretary?
You can.
Yes. Do you believe I have the knowledge?
You have.
So when will I get the chance to be a cabinet secretary?
The cabinet secretary only 22. You will not get.
Why? Why?
You will not get.
Why?
Because the chance of you getting is so far.
Exactly.
But
because
maybe,
the president
but
only
maybe the way you are going,
people.
Maybe you are going if you plan very well.
The president appoints on the basis of corruption. If you are not a good thief, he doesn't appoint you to the cabinet because you don't know how to steal.
Let me tell you, you are yet just to have an opportunity. You may be the worst thief, but you probably have not got an opportunity to get into government and steal.
Oh, really?
Yes, maybe you have not got.
Actually,
so
I do believe that
those people who are in government now may be better.
Oh,
maybe
really?
you may steal more.
That is a big maybe.
We will give you an opportunity and see how fast you do. But to say that a minister...
The thing is, when does he get an opportunity
to
get to serve? If at all you're saying, it's time to serve will take a little bit of time.
Now that we are even saying the cabinet should have 15, and we are 50 million Kenyans, of maybe 20 million are qualified to be CSS, can't you see that is remote? So we can't come here to argue that when am I going to come, as if it is something that we needed 100 people to be in cabinet.
Okay.
So not everybody must be in cabinet, but to think that we cannot have a cabinet with somebody above 60 is to get it all wrong.
All right, I want us to take the next story, and this the next topic rather. This has to do with the deputy president and the president. Their relationship seems to have, you know, something is in there. I have no idea what, but the deputy president says, my phone calls are tapped, allies are being threatened, you know, the relationship with him and the president seems to be in murky waters at the moment as we speak. There's an impeachment motion that has, you know, signatures are being collected in order to get to impeach the deputy president. And he, during an interview, he did dare all those that are, you know, doing this to, you know, bring it on to some extent. And also, in the midst of this, there seems to be a coalition that is in formation with Kalonzo Musyoka, of course, and other opposition leaders, Uhuru Kenyatta, trying to, you know, form a coalition that is going to tackle William Ruto in the next election. Let me start with this one. The deputy president and his president, their relationship seems not to be working. Just less than 2 years into office, to some extent, they looked like they will see to the end of 2020, to the next election, let me say that. We don't see them getting there, do we?
You know, for those who did chemistry, we have miscible and immiscible materials or liquids, meaning there are some which could mix well, others don't. If you come to the issues of leadership, here we have a deputy president who speaks his mind, and you have the president who will say this today, and sometimes he'll say something different tomorrow. Now, if you put those two characters together, you expect that kind of mismatch to emerge, and that's exactly what has happened. So when you hear of those people who are saying they're going to impeach the deputy president, my key question is, what are those reasons or grounds to impeach the deputy president? Personally, I would say we are not going to use National Assembly to settle political scores. If you have disgruntlement at the executive level, let those issues not be brought to Parliament. Solve them amicably as top leaders, but don't use Parliament as a house to be able to settle political differences.
You sit in the
and
National
that's why, if such a thing is brought to Parliament, myself as the vice chair of all young parliamentarians, and also as the chair of the first-time members of Parliament caucus, I'll not succumb to that. We are going to discuss objectively as members, and if we don't see any wrongdoing of the deputy president, then we are going to reject such a motion be brought to the House. Remember,
you sit in the National Assembly. I want to confirm from you whether these signatures have been collected there.
So far, I've not seen any paper being circulated for members to append their signatures, unless it's done behind the scenes or by few individuals reaching out only to friends. I've not come across such a paper. So those could be more of a hearsay.
Okay. What's the relationship in the UDA party? This, you know, what's happening with the second in command?
I would like Mheshimiwa to defend President William Ruto the way he's defending Rigathi Gachagua. And they are saying President William Ruto says this, tomorrow he says that. I remember I watched gleefully as Rigathi Gachagua tiraded on Uhuru Kenyatta during the inauguration of their presidency. And when it became convenient, he told the world that he has suddenly reconciled with Uhuru Kenyatta and is a good man. And many of the things he's complaining about now, he complained about them of Uhuru Kenyatta then. And he said he was arrested almost naked, he was done A, B, C, D. Today he started saying that his phones are being tapped. I remember him documenting his travel to Mombasa, pulling a trolley by himself. And I thought it was an accidental camera. But the thing was documented all from Nairobi to Mombasa to the hotel, everywhere. What he's trying to do, he's trying to appeal to his people. Now I'm being persecuted. Take care of me. Take me back as your son. Because the DP has reduced himself to the president of Mount Kenya. You don't address the nation in vernacular, only in vernacular stations, and it is what we are discussing here now. The DP should have called the mainstream media broadcasting in Kiswahili or English to talk to the world. Most of his time he spends in Mount Kenya. In fact, if he has a function in Mount Kenya, when the president is going somewhere, the president will go without him. Let's be fair to him. Let's be fair to the president. And you remember, when we had the problem between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, it was Uhuru Kenyatta who threw the first bullet that Ruto was tangering everywhere, and I think that is what we expected him. In this one, it is not President William Ruto who has thrown the first bullet. It is his deputy. We need to be fair to the president. I know what Rigathi Gachagua is trying to do is do what Raila Odinga did in Luoland. You make the government of the day your enemy, and then you cry to your people that you are being persecuted. When you want to be a messiah, you must create a boogeyman, an enemy, a Satan. That everything that happens, you point to the people. Everything that happens, you point to the people. Then you give them hope where they will be if they follow you as the Messiah. It is what even religions use, it is what cults use, and it is what political parties that are becoming cults use. They create a Messiah, the Messiah creates a boogeyman, and then that is followed.
If at all what you're saying is true, do you think his plan is going to work in terms of, painting the president as the wrong, the boogeyman in this particular case, and, having the support of his people? Just he says he's very guilty when it comes to
defending his people. It's already working. Unfortunately, it doesn't have enough time for it to work perfectly before the next general election. You can see why, when he started rebelling against the president, it is when the younger people, the Gen Zs in parliament from Mount Kenya, started walking. People like Ndindi Nyoro were already walking everywhere in order to get support from the people. And they thought he was being undermined when younger people are trying to become the leaders of the Mount Kenya region.
Okay, Morana, let me bring you in. Maybe you need to make a clip of the president saying, "I'll never treat my deputy the way I was treated before, but now this is happening." Let's start from there.
So, the deputy president of Kenya has been such a disgrace to public service that even discussing him is a betrayal of whatever I believe in, because the deputy president is not the deputy president of Kenya, he is the deputy president of Mount Kenya. Of course, he is trying to endear himself to the people, but you see the kind of things he's doing, even William Ruto did not do them, because we never saw William Ruto calling Kass FM and seated and addressing radio stations that speak in Kalenjin to talk to the Kalenjin nation. He is such a disgrace. Now, if indeed he is the deputy president of Kenya, then he should only be paid by the taxes of the people of Mount Kenya and not the taxes of all the people of the Republic of Kenya.
So you have a problem with the deputy president speaking to the people, but the politics of this nation, that's exactly what normally happens.
And that is what
adhere to their regions.
And that is what we, the young people, are trying to say. We want to change the politics of our nation, and we are committed, and we are going to do it. People like Mr. Odoyo-Witi do not believe it will happen. And I want to tell him, Mr. Odoyo-Witi, stay around a little bit longer, and you will see the politics of our nation change from these shenanigans of Gachagua talking tribal politics to something better, where we don't talk about personalities or individuals, but about issues and systems. So the politics, we are going to change it. That is why I don't even see the reason of why I should talk about the deputy president and how well he is doing, trying to endear himself to the Kikuyu. It's of no value. If indeed he has been trying to endear himself to the young people of this country and trying to bring himself closer to the Gen Z. If he cares about the Gen Z, let him start agitating for the same things that we are agitating for. Let him start talking about bad governance. Let him start talking about corruption. And when he talks about corruption, let him begin with the 6 million that was lost for a dialysis machine at Nyeri Provincial Hospital when he was at the county government of, from the county government of Nyeri. Let him also talk about the 104 million that was lost in his hands from Bungoma County government. Let him talk about the 7 billion corruption case that he
If at all
had.
he endears himself to the younger generation of the country, are you going to hold him account to the issues that have been to say he's been part and parcel of the issues that are affecting the nation, because he's been part of this government ever since it was elected?
Honorable Rigathi Gachagua is part of the problem we are trying to solve. And if we are saying Ruto must go, we are not just saying Ruto as a person. We are saying Ruto and everything that he has, his luggage, which we believe Gachagua is his luggage, and his belongings. They must go together as a package.
Okay, Honorable Basil, let me bring you in on this one, because you come from an opposition that seems to be, to some extent, realigning itself and find ways in which you can have support as we head to 2027 elections. Is there a possibility of Kalonzo Musyoka, Gachagua, Uhuru Kenyatta, all this forming a coalition that is going now to face President William Ruto in the coming election?
You know what you are talking about there is more of a speculation.
Okay.
As much as I'm concerned, I don't remember a time when the people you have mentioned, the former president, the deputy president, and my party leader sitting together and myself being invited.
But this is the thing.
As our coalition is being crafted. So
party,
these are speculations.
Your party leader did say, we don't be fooled. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta is with us and he supports us. Former Deputy President,
of course, the former president has
Deputy
been
President
a member
Rigathi
of
Gachagua
Azimio.
in that particular interview did say, of course, we talked to Uhuru Kenyatta, and of course, we are friends.
If you talk of former president, his party, Jubilee Party, is a member of Azimio. So at that level, you can say the former president is part of the opposition coalition. But when you bring now the deputy president, I would say that's more of a speculation. Remember, politics is dynamic. No one knew whether Raila and the Ruto today would be talking of forming a government together. No one saw it coming, but today it is happening, you see? That's why I say politics is dynamic. And let's not discuss speculations. If that particular time comes, then we'll be able to say for sure these speculations were indeed true. But for now, I cannot confirm or even deny, because I've not seen them sitting together and discussing of a possibility of coming up with a coalition that is supposed to host the current president.
I want to quote something here. The president did not tell me the opposition leader was coming with his people to get rid of me. He said they were coming to help, and I believed him. So I'm not taking the impeachment issue seriously, something like that. With the ODM coming into power, joining government to some extent, quote unquote, they have said they are not joining government, but from the look of things, since that a lot of people are counting on that, especially the Kenya Kwanza side, as far as having numbers in the House is concerned. Will an impeachment against the deputy president hold water based on the numbers that are going to be presented?
You cannot count the numbers now. Many people hold their opinions close to their chests. But when the DP said that he thought the president was bringing in the opposition to make a government of national unity, first of all, the current constitution, we really don't have opposition per se. But nevertheless, if what happened on 25th of June is anything to go by, I think Rigathi Gachagua should have been as worried as the president about the stability of the government. But he seemed not to have a problem with it. In fact, he should have been the one celebrating most that Raila Odinga came in to give the government a bit of stability, a government in which is the deputy president. But he seemed to have a problem with it. It means he would have really liked the Gen Zs to overrun the government and we have a regime change.
So
because I expected him to be very happy that Raila Odinga joined in to bring so that we create a government of national unity. But you remember Rigathi Gachagua from day one, he has always had a problem with anybody outside. There are two coalitions. And you know, in Kenya, tribes are coalitions. He always had a problem. In fact, I remember him saying that the way he guards State House, he cannot allow anybody from outside to come in.
Well, he said
and I've heard people saying that the people who have got into government now are all ODM. I think we also have a lady called Oduor. who is now the AG. She's partyless. She's been a civil servant all her life, and she was brought in because the president is trying to create the face of Kenya in his cabinet.
Okay.
So that everybody feels included. When some people, a large swath of the country was feeling excluded, then they end up supporting anything that is anti that government.
Okay.
But when they are included, then they own the government is ours. Even this idea of creating that the young people, the Gen Zs, are the ones that want the government to go out. These people use artificial intelligence to map out a demographic that is largely not in government yet.
Okay.
But even these old people were in government. They were once youth. And some of them even joined government at 50. Some of them joined government much later.
The deputy president during that particular interview did say, of course, had set traps at State House so that to prevent Raila Odinga from coming in. But when he started speaking the language of one man, one shilling, one vote.
Just a minute, let me add you something there.
30 seconds because I'm out of
If
time.
he wanted to protect that government that much, how come he is the first to rebel against the president and leave him alone exposed?
Okay.
He should have defended the president with him.
Unlike the other panelists here, I'll really try to restrain myself not to discuss tribal politics and the Mutuwetu mentality, where Mr. Owiti says that bringing into government a Luo means that the Luos are going to benefit.
No. Included. Benefit
they are
in
going
your
to
language.
Be included is not a language that we should use because I asked and I will ask again, what is the value to a Kalenjin youth that is in Kericho right now, that graduated 4 years, 5 years ago, has never had a job? The government promised these youth that they will be able to borrow money without interest and start businesses. And these youth, the president is from his tribe or her tribe. What is the value of that youth having the president come from Kalenjin nation?
Okay, so what will be the face of Kenya for you
I
then?
will really restrain myself from discussing individuals and personalities. Personally, as I represent the voice of the youth of Kenya, today, this morning, I want to say that we don't mind if the whole cabinet is made up of people from Rift Valley. We do not mind. All we want is a system that works, not individuals that steal. A system that works, not individuals that are coming to steal.
That particular comment may not settle well with a lot of people. I don't know if I want to take a little bit of feedback. Can I take one or two, or we are totally out of time? Okay, so let's take a feedback and see exactly what people are saying. Evans says, we need no politicians to send Ruto home. Kalonzo to Gachagua can't be our options. Gen Z and millennials will elevate a leader amongst themselves. Thank you so much, Evans. We have Karani Samson say, even if Kalonzo, Gachagua, Uhuru unite and hire Museveni from Uganda, they cannot defeat Ruto. Okay. Korir Kibet says, we are sending Ruto home on Nane Odoyo. You are talking of 2027. Okay, that is Korir Kibet. Philip Rube saying, trying to imagine, of course, that to take that, but you may put it. Of course, all right. Thank you so much for making time here. You're totally out of time, and I really do want to appreciate that you could make time for this conversation here and looking at the state of the nation. Morara Kibas, of course. Which clip are you making next?
I'm making another one next. I don't want to take the sugar out of the tea. You will see it.
All right, Odoyo Video, political analyst, thank you so much for making time, sir.
Thank you very much.
And Honorable Robert Basil, MP Yatta. Now, make sure that you're not a rubber stamping National Assembly so that it's not a blanket condemnation.
And myself, I can't support that.
Yeah, thank you. At least we believe in something when it comes to the future as far as young parliamentarians are concerned. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. And also, thank you so much for your feedback. Here or here? I think here, yeah. Thank you so much for your feedback and being part of this particular program. Up next, I believe, is Morning Vibe with Remy Majala. Today, we'll be talking about wellness. All right. If it's something that you care about, of course, you do want to be here to get into that particular conversation with Remy Majala later on at 8. My name is Brian Amwai. Thank you once again for being part of the program this particular morning. See you next time.